Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Awaken to Torah. This week's Torah portion is Exodus, or Shemot, chapter 25, verse 1, through chapter 27, verse 19. It's Teruma, or the heave offering. Entering into the Torah portion, chapter 25 verse 1 is offerings for the tabernacle. The people gathered together and they brought silver and gold and fine linen, ram skins, badger skins. All of these things were collected first to build the tabernacle. Around verse 10 of chapter 25, we see the dimensions of the Ark of the Covenant being given. The Father describes in detail how he wants this built, of acacia wood, in the King James Version shittim wood, that it's to be overlaid with gold. He gives the very dimensions of it. Wants a crown of gold at the top, horns on the altar. He wants two angels built out of beaten gold, placed on top of the mercy seat. Around verse 23, we see the table of showbread. He talks about exactly how he wants it made, the dimensions of it, the materials to be used for everything as far as the utensils that are going to be used for the table. In verse 20 or 31, we see the lampstand, or the menorah. He describes how he wants it built. He wants it to be built out of beaten gold. Wants almond buds, including their leaves when they're just budding, on each one of the arms of the lampstand. 3 on one side, 3 on the other, with the main one in the center, making it a seven lamp lampstand. Very detailed about everything and how he wants this done. The materials to be used, everything. The way he wants he's so detailed about it. He wants them to understand which way he wants the light from the candlesticks to be facing. So in Exodus 26 verse 1, we see the beginning of the construction of the tabernacle. Again, the Father is very detailed in how he wants this done, what materials he wants to use. Then he talks about the framework in verse 15, about what wood he wants them to use for the poles, what material he wants them to use for under the poles, whether it was gold or silver or brass. Very detailed in every aspect of this. Talks about, even the eyelets of the curtains. Tells them on the curtain that divides the holies of holies from the holy place. It's to have cherubims woven into the fabric. Very detailed about everything he wanted done with this tabernacle. That was verse 31, where he starts talking about the curtain. Verse 27, or chapter 27, verse 1, he starts talking about the altar of burnt offerings. And in verse 9, he talks about the court and its hangings, meaning the outer court. I wish I had a whiteboard that I could kind of draw this for you right now, because, when we teach this at synagogue, we break this thing down and draw a little diagram and show people, how long a cubit is, from the hand to the elbow, the forearm, or I should say from the wrist to the elbow. And if we're going to be 5 cubits high on the outward border, If you can kind of picture it in your mind, it would have had a smaller tent of meat where the holies and the holies of holies were, and then it would have had a larger circumference going around the outside of that, called the outer courts. It's where the altar of burnt offerings would have been. All of these furnishings had a specific place as well that the Father told them to put them. The Ark of the Covenant was in the Holy of Holies, the lampstand, the table of showbread, the basin, the burnt offering. It all had a specific place. There's a great teaching in this whole thing, but again, we're not trying to do a teaching here. We're just trying to give a short synopsis on what the Torah portion was, hoping to generate you some fire to get into the Word and start reading the Torah portions every week for yourself. I'm not going to elaborate a whole lot on this week's Torah portion, just simply because it's a really in-depth teaching. I mean, you could spend weeks on any one element of this Torah portion and why the Father wanted it done this way, or why He wanted this placed here, or why He wanted that placed there. But there's a really cool Jewish folklore, I guess we would say, that I'd like to share during this week's Torah portion. If you can imagine that the Ark of the Covenant was actually the seat that the Father would come and sit down on, and the angel's wings came behind Him touching, which would have been the backrest of the seat. But what is amazing about this, they say that one time a year, when the Father would ascend into the temple and He would sit upon the mercy seat, and the priest would go behind the veil, that they knew He was there because the whole tent would swell and contract, as if His breath was blowing the tent up, and when He would suck in the air, it was contracting the tent. It's amazing to think that Yahweh, Elohim, creator of heaven and earth, would care so much about us as His people that He would come down and be in our presence, in our very presence, and allow us to know that He was still there, that He was still watching us, that He was still thinking of us, that He was still caring for us, He was still fighting our battles, that He was still holding to His promises that He made us. I hope you've enjoyed this week's Torah portion. We ask you that you would give us a like on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever you've seen this at, that you would just, tell us whether you're listening, because we don't want to be just doing this for nothing. If you would like to contact us, you can contact us at Route 3, Box 1512, Stillwell, Oklahoma, 74960. You can find us on the web at www.awakened2torah.com. You can also find us on YouTube under the same title, awakened2torah.com, and you can find us on Facebook under my name, James Gillespie, and we also have a Facebook page, awakened2torah.com. If you're listening and you enjoy hearing this short synopsis every week on that week's Torah portion, just let us know. Thank you. Let's all continue to grow together. Shabbat Shalom.